Today, bowling is among the most well-liked sports in the world. It has a long and rich history. A group of items that Sir Flinders Petrie, a British anthropologist, thought might have been used for a primitive game of bowling were found in a child's burial in Egypt in the 1930s. If he was right, bowling has roots dating back to 3200 BC. William Paley, a historian from Germany, claimed that bowling first appeared in his nation around 300 AD, when King Edward III purportedly forbade bowling in 1366 to keep his men concentrated on archery practice. There is strong evidence that the sport was popular in England at that time. Additionally, it is almost certain that bowling was well liked throughout King Henry VIII. Undoubtedly, bowling was brought to America by English, Dutch, and German settlers in their own unique styles. Washington Irving makes the first reference to it in a work of significant American literature, when Rip Van Winkle wakes up to the sound of crashing ninepins. It's likely that the Battery neighborhood of New York City was the first permanent bowling alley in the United States. New Yorkers continued to name the tiny tract Bowling Green, even though it is now the center of the financial district. In America, the game had its ups and downs. Maintaining any nine-pin lanes was against the law in Connecticut in 1841, most likely because bowling was a popular form of gambling. Of course, the issue also demonstrated its appeal. Additionally, a lot of businessmen decided to build lanes into their own houses. The origin of the 10-pin game is unknown, but by the late 1800s it has spread to several states including New York, Ohio, and even as far west as Illinois. However, regional variations existed in specifics like pin diameters and ball weights. But when restaurateur Joe Thumb eventually managed to round up representatives of several local bowling clubs, things started to shift. In New York City's Beethoven Hall on September 9, 1895, the American Bowling Congress was established. Standardization would be developed quickly, allowing for the holding of significant national tournaments. The American Bowling Congress was exclusively for men, even though women had started bowling in the second part of the 19th century. The Women's International Bowling Congress was established in St. Louis in 1917. The Women's National Bowling Association was established thanks to the encouragement of owner Dennis Sweeney and female leaders from throughout the nation who were taking part in a competition. Around the same time, bowling technology advanced greatly. Most bowling balls were constructed of the extremely hard wood lignum vitae. The first rubber bowling ball, the Irviture, was created in 1905, and the rubber mineral light ball from Brunswick Corporation was created 9 years later. Up until the development of polyester balls in the 1970s, hard rubber balls dominated the market. Urethane bowling balls were first launched in the 1980s. The architecture of the ball cores, dense structure inside the ball that alter the ball's balance, underwent significant alterations in 1990. The game gained popularity once it was standardized and structured. Another technological advance in 1951 paved the way for further expansion. The patents for Gottfried Schmidt's automatic pin spotter were obtained by American Machine and Foundry Company (AMF), a manufacturer of machinery for the bakery, tobacco, and garment industries. By the end of 1952, production model pin spotters were released. A business owner was no longer forced to rely on pin boys. A pin setter, also known as a pin spotter, was formerly a person who manually repositioned bowling balls, removed drop pins, and gave bowling balls back to players. Pinboy is another term for the occupation, which is probably a result of the fact that many pin setters were teenage males and the work was low paid, frequently part-time, and manual labor that was typically performed in the evenings. While working for the AMF company in 1936, Gottfried Schmidt created the mechanical pin setter, which effectively eliminated the need for human pin setters, although some bowling alleys still employ them, while pin chasers, also known as pin monkeys, are frequently stationed close to the equipment to check on its cleanliness and functionality, as well as to remove small jams. People are typically no longer used to set the pins. The preferred swing for bowlers is still the one-handed swing. The classic one-handed swing will continue to be utilized by the vast majority of bowlers, while the two-handed bowling method may make it less common in the future. The two-handed bowling style is becoming more and more popular among young bowlers in America today. This triumph has been noticeable for a while because of the various touring professionals' television successes, due to the aggressive delivery style that produces a strong hook ball reaction and a high angle of entry into the pocket that also produces numerous strikes. Two-handed bowling is the way to go if you're looking to improve your game. It's crucial to note that one-handed bowling is still more effective for any bowler to develop into a talented and skilled player at any level of the sport. One-handed competitors have more power players than two-handed competitors in terms of success, with a stroker swing style of bowling in which a moderate hook is produced with a high degree of accuracy in hitting the pocket and converting spares. One-handed players have also experienced tremendous success over the years. In reality, one-handed bowlers make up the vast majority of bowlers nominated into the Hall of Fame somewhere in America. One-handed bowling is undoubtedly more suited to the needs of senior men's and women's teams as well as young players. Numerous adult bowlers who regularly compete in leagues and some tournaments also favor this approach, and it is likely that they will continue to favor it for more years to come. The two-handed style has a growth ceiling in part because it requires a high level of athleticism and agility to perform. Not everyone has the physical gifts to bowl with two hands, despite the strong ball reaction and high strike potential that come with it. The one-handed conventional approach will continue to be preferred by the majority of bowlers in the game for these millions of players. The two-handed bowling approach is apparently a one-handed technique according to certain knowledgeable trainers. According to these trainers, the second hand is utilized to accelerate the ball and its rate of revolutions at the moment of release, as well as to balance the ball during the approach and swing motions. The overall result in America appears to be that this two-handed approach is here to stay, and gives bowlers who are new to the sport who want to change their bowling technique another alternative. But the most widely used bowling technique will always be one-handed bowling. In fact, producers who will keep releasing new bowling balls with a range of reaction options by combining cover stocks with different friction factor capabilities with a range of core shapes and sizes. One can reasonably assume that the one-handed swing style will continue to be a conventional, well-known, and classic style in the game and will do so for the rest of bowling history.